Hello and welcome back to An Old Man Watches, where today I'm going to be talking about the first season of Netflix's Wednesday TV series about Wednesday Addams. Second season is just about to come out, or by the time this video goes up, may have just come out after a 3 year interval, so it seemed like an appropriate time to look at the show. And when we first meet Wednesday Addams, she has two big problems. The first is that she has recently started to become plagued with unpredictable psychic visions that she can't control. The second is that she's just been expelled from her high school for sicking live piranha on the water polo team. Wednesday's parents, Gomez and Morticia, decide the only solution is to send their daughter to Nevermore Academy, their own alma mater and an establishment that specialises in the education of outcast children. What's an outcast? Well, we'll never get a definitive answer, but the students include vampires, werewolves, and gorgons, so think kooky and spooky and altogether ooky. In any case, Wednesday is not happy to be at Nevermore and plans to escape the place as soon as she can. Her resistance to the school is primarily founded on the standard teenage paradigm. Her parents love the place, therefore it must be awful. And not awful in the way that the Gothic Wednesday finds appealing. But escaping Nevermore is easier said than done, in part because the staff are vigilant for such antics, but also because there are lots of interesting things afoot. A monster in the woods, prophecies of doom that seem to involve Wednesday herself, a cute boy at the local coffee shop, and maybe, just maybe, the fact that Wednesday doesn't hate it at Nevermore quite as much as she wants to. Equipped only with the disembodied hand Thing, her unreliable psychic visions, and a frankly overinflated sense of her own intelligence, Wednesday sets out to solve the mysteries at Nevermore and save the very institution that she claims to loathe. So the Addams Family began life as a series of quirky newspaper cartoons back in the 1930s, almost 100 years ago now. Creator Charles Addams would produce roughly 60 images of the family for the New Yorker, primarily in the 40s and 50s, as well as other cartoons for book collections. But the Addams Family really shot to fame with the 1960s TV show. While this ran for only 2 seasons, it remained in syndication worldwide for many years, and the theme song became an instantly recognisable childhood memory for many. 2 live-action films were then produced in the early 90s, featuring child actor Christina Ricci in the role of Wednesday Addams. Ricci would prove to be the breakout star of the franchise, with critics praising her performance ahead of much more renowned and experienced co-stars like Angelica Houston and Raul Julia. This show draws heavily on the TV show and the 1990s movies for its tone and style, with the ghoulishly macabre Wednesday, who opines that the worst thing about being charged with attempted murder would be everyone knowing she failed to get the job done, now very much promoted to being the central character. So, how is the show? Well, it's stylish and it has some real strengths, but it also has some major flaws. Let's start with the good news, which is that the casting team did a great job. While considerably older than the character she is playing, Jenna Ortega is great in the title role, portraying Wednesday with charisma and style. Ortega does a great job of delivering Wednesday's deadpan snark, while also showing just enough a hint of vulnerability that I could believe that under her fierce independence and individualism and determined efforts to push people away was a secret desire to find a community of her own. Ortega is ably supported by the rest of the cast. Christina Ricci returns to the franchise to play one of the teachers at Nevermore Academy. Emma Myers is great fun as Wednesday's bubbly werewolf roommate Enid. Hunter Doohan is excellent as Tyler Galpin, one of the few normies who seem willing to treat the Nevermore students reasonably decently, and whose interest in Wednesday is clearly more than a just friends thing. And it doesn't stop there, with solid supporting work from Ricky Lindholm, Jamie McShane, Joy Sunday, and many others. In fact, the cast is, if anything, overburdened with skilled, charismatic performers whose characters I wanted to see given more chance to shine. Lindholm's quirky therapist character, for instance, is great fun when we see her, but we don't get to do so anywhere near as much as I would have liked. The same is true of several other characters as well. One place where the show is not overburdened with characters is in the staff of Nevermore. As far as can be told from this season, the school has exactly 3 staff members: the principal, a fencing instructor, and Christina Ricci's botany teacher. Now, I can accept this as the realities of TV production. Creating a fully fleshed out staff for Nevermore would cost time and money and not contribute to the main plotline. But there are other world building issues in the show for which there is much less excuse. Key among these is the show's reliance on having everyone discount the possibility of weird phenomena and supernatural shenanigans. There are literally vampires and werewolves at this school, and people who can make images come to life, and shape-shifting merpeople with the ability to employ magical charms. They are literally investigating a monster in a prophecy and using psychic visions to do it. But they're always like, that's impossible. Now, this is a perplexing issue, not just because, I mean, it's obviously a problem, but because showrunners Miles Miller and Alfred Gough were also behind Smallville, a show that, whatever its other flaws, and it had a lot, had a core bunch of characters who very rapidly accepted there are people with superpowers. That's a real thing, and we should be open to theories based on that. This show, not so much. And this show also has some other world and character building issues. While I can accept that Wednesday secretly wants to make friends with some of the other kids at school, despite loudly claiming that she doesn't, there are other places where I'm less willing to forgive inconsistency. Wednesday frequently makes references to gruesome and violent things her relatives have done. Hence, the show starts with her committing such an act. But then an entire episode has a subplot where she's worried her father might be a murderer. It's like they temporarily forgot who their main character actually was. That isn't something that Wednesday should care about. Despite these issues, however, the show's style and performances meant that I truly enjoyed the first 6 episodes and was looking forward to seeing how the main plot played out. But oh dear, it's a mess. It's not just the fact that Wednesday is a thoroughly incompetent detective who gets every single detail of the case completely wrong, though she is and she does. The show has at least done some work to flag that Wednesday isn't quite the omnicompetent genius she believes herself to be. And it's not just that when the show finally does force-feed Wednesday the truth, whole and entire, through no real action of her own, she then messes up the whole thing, not once, but twice. I mean, sure, it's hard to root for protagonists this incompetent unless they're being played for laughs, and I was heartily sick of watching Wednesday blunder into disaster after disaster. But the real moment when my patience snapped was when the day was lost, utterly and completely, and the writers were like, oh, magic doodad out of nowhere, the day is saved. Blech. That's some awful lazy writing, and it really soured me on what had been a pretty fun show for 3/4 of its run. I think I'll still see season 2. For one thing, the cast looks even more amazing than they had for this season, but it's very much become an I'll get to it one day kind of thing, rather than a I'll see it as soon as it's complete scenario, which it was before the bungled finale. Next time, the 4th movie in the Starship Troopers franchise, the 2012 animated film Starship Troopers Invasion. But that is next time. Until then, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you've seen Wednesday, let me know what you thought of it.